Hi Aries, welcome to a new feature of mine. I'm Rena. This is your financial abundance report, and this is for the first quarter of the year. I'm intending to do these 4 times a year. I hope that I remember it, when April rolls around. And this is for the period ending on March 31st. So it's exactly 2 months from when I am recording this. I did not record it earlier in January because I wasn't even planning to do it. It's just that I'm in between my typical readings and I had some downtime and I thought that it would be fun to do it. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. As you can see, I've already laid out the cards because I decided to start over again. And I prefer to start over sometimes rather than edit because of the way, sometimes the processing time takes so long, it's almost worth it. And what I was saying before I laid out the cards was I wanted to tell you about a transit that is occurring for you during this time frame. And that is that you're going to have your solar return. I believe it's on the 20th of March, and then the new moon is 1 week later on the 27th in Aries. So this is going to be at the tail end of this reading, and I feel like when we have these transits, that it tends to make us more into that mode of starting anew for the new cycle. So in other words, there may be some unfinished business up until that point. And there is a Venus retrograde that's occurring on March 4th, and it will last until April 15th. So it's going to be going on as we go into the second financial quarter past this reading. And when it begins the retrograde, March 4th, it will be in Aries at 13 degrees of Aries and will actually go back into Pisces. So it's going to go back into your 12th house. So that's yet another planet, when you have the sun in the 12th house during the month prior to your birthday, that tends to be a time of reflection and you're not doing a whole lot of overt stuff. It's almost like more behind the scenes. So you have some really nice cards here, and there are, let's see how many, 5 major arcana cards. That is very significant, Aries, because I only picked 7 altogether. Now, Aries has, because you're a cardinal sign, you have these, what we call outer planets. They have very long transits through one sign. You have them in cardinal signs. So for instance, Uranus is in Aries, in your sign, okay? And that's like gasoline and fire. Uranus is very unpredictable, and Aries is very combustible. So this combination can make you even more rash, even more, I think even more charismatic because you're more electric than normal. It does require a lot more discipline on your part because you're going to have possibly external events that you did not expect that affect your basic core of being. And so you have to keep on your toes. And in order to do that, you have to have your life relatively in control already so that things aren't really, really thrown asunder. You also have Pluto in Capricorn, and that is creating a square with your sun or your rising sign. This can be very, very difficult and frustrating because you may feel like, because Capricorn is your 10th house of career, okay? So you may feel like with Pluto in that house, you may be very, very ambitious, but feel like you're getting blocked and you're like, what is going on? And this has been going on now for 9 years, since 2008, when Pluto went into Capricorn. The best way to handle this is to relinquish the need for control. That's the best thing you can do. And this is why spiritually you're going through this, because you're never going to go through it again. You'd have to live, to be how old? 180 or whatever, 160. So you're not going to experience Pluto in Capricorn again. And there's a lesson there. There's a lesson to be learned. It will be in Capricorn until 2023. So we're looking at another 6 years. And when it's done, you will look back and you will see a lot of progress that you made, as long as you are kind of like giving and taking and not just expecting to bulldoze your way through things like you typically like to do. Maybe this will mellow you out, Aries. We'll see. So, I will begin, and we're looking at the state of your finances, the state of your career right now. The Chariot card means that you have taken control of things. Maybe you did feel like your chariot was running amok, and you finally grabbed the reins. The Chariot is a card of victory, actually. The number 7, represented by the Chariot, refers to a turning point. So the first quarter, there can be a turning point. And I do feel that that's backed up by the fact that you have so many major arcana cards. So I think that the best way that this can be utilized is for you to make sure not to allow your thoughts to be scattered, that you are one-pointed in what your objectives are financially and also your career. You do not let outer distractions get the best of you. And for you, this is especially important emotionally, because you're a fire sign, you're very emotional, but you're an Aries, you're very volatile. And Aries people are very spontaneous in everything they do, including their emotional outbursts. And so when you have an outburst with the wrong person, that can be, some people will be able to have the wherewithal to see beyond whatever you're doing, but some people get very, very turned off to it, and they will, never allow you to have that kind of power over them again. So you don't want to burn bridges, is what I'm saying. You definitely want to have self-control, and that will give you the abundance, the financial, and well, it's not just about dollars and cents. It's about, if you have certain career objectives, this will give you that. Now, for some of you, I do feel that this involves your own business. I have said this before, that cardinal signs like Aries are probably better off working for themselves. It's very hard for Aries people to take orders. If they're forced to, because they feel like there's nothing else out there for them, they will. But they just tend to be very sullen under those circumstances, because they feel like they want to, call the shots. And this is because you have your own creative vision, and you don't like the idea of making other people's dreams come true. You want to make your own dreams come true. How did you get to this point? Well, we have the 9 of Pentacles, and this is a card of self-sufficiency. So I definitely think that some of you may have decided at some point in the past that you were going to not depend on other people to give you a job and to pay your bills. So, for instance, if you, let's say you're a homemaker, you may have been staying home with the children, and you did not like this feeling of not having your own money and having to ask for money or whatever, was going on. So you just either created a home business, or you waited until your children were a little bit older, and now you're pursuing something. But it's a feeling of independence that motivated you to get to this place. That's totally in alignment with what I see with the sign of Aries. You are the first sign of the zodiac, number one. One in numerology is connected to somebody who is being independent and self-reliance. And it's Pentacles, so it's directly connected to resources. Career is included in resources. That the Pentacles connect to anything material, including your career. And the higher message, and when I picked this card, I had just been talking about Taurus, the second house. This is a card connected to Taurus, connected to Venus. It can be also connected to Libra. Anything with both of those signs are ruled by Venus. But I feel like it's directly connected to Taurus. It's an earth energy. And so the higher message is that you are a very simple person. And I'm not saying that as an insult, one iota. I'm saying that really honestly. And I think of Taurus and Aries as the two most uncomplicated signs. I probably should have said uncomplicated. Simple sounds like, not the brightest crayon in the box. I didn't mean it like that at all. But you have very basic a way of going about life, and that's one of your charms, because people tend to see someone who is very much in alignment with authenticity. And so if you feel something, you share it. People know where you're coming from, and so with your with your attitude towards prosperity, you want to have sensual pleasure. And that means that you want to have good food. You want to have the means to be able to go and see a play, or a nice movie or nice restaurant, and not have to say to budget or anything like that. You want to be able to just have that kind of freedom, but also the freedom to indulge. And this is a card of abundance, and this is your birthright. I mean, it's all of our birthrights. But for Aries, this is something, and I think even though this is a spiritual message, I think a lot of people born under Aries already know this about themselves, that they really do feel like they control their destiny when it comes to money, and that makes them, confident that they can do it, even if it's not there right now. And I just think that it's kind of reiterating that. For this quarter, what is represented with your finances? Well, it doesn't get much better than this, Aries. The Sun card. Now, the Sun card connects with the sign Leo. And because it rules Leo. But so there could be, romance is one of the interpretations of the Sun card, but also creativity, and also anything joyous, positive, abundant, success-oriented. So this looks really good for you, Aries, in terms of if you're wondering how your money is going to be in this year. It's a yes card. All systems go. Very, very positive. This hopefully will be an encouragement to those of you who have been feeling kind of tossed around like a ship on a very turbulent sea. I'm hoping that you will take that to heart, that you are coming into a very nice, positive period. I think that if you have any ideas related to home business and creative projects, that you should definitely dust them off and really try to implement them, because I feel like this is also asking that of you, that could be a part of what is abundant. What crosses you is the Six of Pentacles, and you see the person's holding scales and he's, giving money. I think what this is specifically talking about is what I had touched upon earlier. You're a very generous sign. Are you being too generous with somebody who is just taking and you're giving? And there might be a little tinge of ego in this, where you feel like, hey, I got it to give, so I'm going to give it to somebody else. But while he's giving, he's also holding scales. I am not of the belief that we should ever keep a ledger of what we've given and what we're getting and things like that, and come at relationships with that mentality. But by the same token, I feel like we have to help other people learn how to be as ethical, and also, as I picked for your main card, or for the past position of the Nine of Pentacles, teach people how to be more self-empowered. When you give money to somebody who needs to stand on their own 2 feet, that is enabling them to continue to be dependent on others. And there's nothing wrong with helping people out, for goodness sake. That is not what I'm saying. I'm talking only about situations where there is a clear-cut case of somebody not doing what they should be doing for themselves. And out of your open, generous heart, you feel compelled because you feel like, sympathy towards others. You're a good person, and they are taking advantage of your generosity, and they're not moving their own lives forward. They're just living off of your, blood, sweat, and tears. Well, let's not say blood. Let's just say, and let's not say tears. Hey, you know what? Let's not even say sweat. Why should we even have? You shouldn't have to sweat while you work if you don't want to. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't want to, you shouldn't have to. So let's say you're largesse. Okay? So what is coming in for you? The Fool card, embarking on that new path. As you end this first quarter, you have the sun in your sign. It's a whole new journey for you. This card is connected to the planet Uranus. You have Uranus in your sign. You are filled at this time, Aries, with all kinds of innovative ideas, ways to set yourself apart from others. Unique ways of being. That is so exciting. I'm so excited for you. And you are carving a fresh trail. Your own path. You are a pioneer. The outcome is the Death card. Death to the old. Death to the old cycle. To the old limiting thoughts. To relationships which are no longer feeding you positivity, which are, people that are trying to hold you back. They're trying to keep you in that place where you used to be, where you are no longer at. And situations. For some of you, maybe you are transitioning from working for an employer to making yourself your employer. Maybe you've been doing it on the side, and maybe you're going to make it your main gig. And you're finally going to say goodbye to that way of life. The Death card should be welcomed and encouraged, because it means that there's a new, fresh road ahead, as evidenced by the Fool card. I'm going to pick a card. I did for some of the other readings. I picked an Ascended Masters card, and then I kind of forgot to do it. So I'm just going to do that just for the heck of it. These cards are so beautiful. They're by Doreen Virtue. Teacher. And I'm not even going to say this person's name. I can't. I think, the idea of teacher is interesting because I had mentioned to you with, I think it was another sign actually, but sometimes we do have mentors that we learn from, and other times we are the teacher. I think we're always students and teachers at the same time, if you want to know the truth. And so what I would say to you is, where in your life do you feel like you are called to share your wisdom with other people? And, when is a good time for you to listen to those who have come before you? If you are trying to launch something, you may need someone to kind of give you those fine points. You may have some idea of what you want to do, but you may need a little bit more instruction. It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be some kind of certificate that you obtain. But it's interesting. You have to have the humility to be able to listen to others and to consider that they may know what they're talking about. And Aries tends to be somebody that wants to call the shots, even when it comes to areas that they're trying to, start where they might benefit from experienced people in that field. And sometimes, the ego can get us to think that we don't need anybody. We're so self-sufficient. And yet it does help. But on the other side, too, is like giving of ourselves. I mentioned this card about, giving resources to people and whether or not it's always a good idea. And typically I would say yes, but I also think that sometimes what we need to give more of is our wisdom and not so much just dollars and cents. And that can help people much more than just getting fed for the day. They can actually get advice that can help them be self-sufficient for the rest of their lives. And I think that's always a good thing to spread as well, those kinds of messages. Okay, Aries, well, good luck to you. And if you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. I do have career readings as well as love readings and things like that. But in any case, take care of yourselves. Bye.